David's inner turmoil persisted. Guaranteed, they called it. But he couldn't shake the feeling he'd have been better off giving his ex-wife a fair share of their assets in the divorce. Then, he wouldn't be in this precarious situation. He couldn't shake the suspicion that his father had long harbored a plan to strip him of his rightful inheritance. Why else would he insist, for so many years, that David transfer ownership of condos, land, and cars to him? I won't let Jessica take a single dime in the divorce, son. Everything you've built will remain intact with me, his father had declared. In the end, David found himself deceived and left with nothing. His relationship with Jessica had soured long ago. Not even the presence of their 3 children could salvage their marriage. David had proposed ending things numerous times, but Jessica hesitated, doubting, postponing the inevitable divorce, unwilling to give up her comfortable lifestyle. When David finally confessed to Jessica about his 6-month affair with another woman, she reached a breaking point. "That's it, I've had enough. I'm filing for divorce," she declared. "I hope you'll act like a real man and not leave me and the kids penniless. You've accumulated quite a bit in 12 years: 2 condos, 2 plots of land, 3 cars, and a bank account. David, do what's morally right. Give me half of what I'm legally entitled to. I don't claim the business. You can keep that." David chuckled. "Well, my dear, you've had enough? Don't you think you're asking for a lot? All I can offer is a 1-bedroom apartment. You'll have to move out of this one. Plus, I'll throw in $30,000 on top for any repairs you might need." "No, David, I won't agree to that. Why are you trying to protect your children?" Jessica protested. "Everything I have, I earned through my own hard work." "You haven't invested a penny," David retorted. "Wait, you're wrong. All this time, I provided you with support, took care of you, cooked for you, comforted you during life's troubles. Don't you consider that work?" Jessica argued. "That's my final offer, Jessica. Take it or leave it, a 1-bedroom apartment and money, or nothing. You have time to decide," David stated firmly. Jessica refused to accept David's proposal. She wanted half of everything he owned. Unbeknownst to her, all the documents were in David's father's name, Robert Anderson. David had kept this cunning plan from his wife. Ignorance was his solace. He prepared meticulously for court, even taking a job as a security guard at his brother's car dealership to avoid hefty alimony payments. When Jessica discovered the truth, she felt defeated. She realized David had outmaneuvered her cleverly, but there was nothing she could do about it now. Every month, Jessica received a meager sum, far from sufficient to support her 3 children, accustomed to a luxurious lifestyle. With no other choice, she had to find employment and cut her ex-husband out of her life for good. David had all but forgotten about his first 3 daughters, seldom maintaining communication or seeing them. His distant attitude greatly perturbed his mother, Karen Parker. "What's gotten into you, son? This isn't humane," she scolded. "I understand things didn't work out with Jessica, but you're their father. You have a responsibility to take care of your kids." "It's complicated, Mom," David replied dismissively. "I might want to be involved if Jessica hadn't poisoned them against me. I used to call regularly, but all they ever asked for was money, new phones, laptops, big screen TVs. I already pay alimony. What more do they want? David, you'll answer to someone for this. You're not poor, yet you give your own children scraps like you're feeding stray dogs. It's not right," his mother admonished. David paid little heed to his mother's words. Guilt didn't weigh on him. He had offered Jessica a lump sum settlement at one point, but she had refused, chasing after a larger payout and punishing herself in the process. After the divorce, he introduced his new partner to his parents. His mother remained indifferent, but his father approved. "You can tell she's a good woman, unlike Jessica," his father remarked. "She speaks softly, doesn't yell, polite, nothing like your ex-wife. I'm glad I insisted on transferring everything to my name, despite your initial resistance." Look how much money it saved you." Immediately after finalizing the divorce, David kept his promise and whisked his new love away to the beach. He remained unreachable for 2 weeks, fully immersed in his vacation. Upon his return, Robert Anderson, his father, confronted him. "David, never again disappear without keeping your phone on. I tried calling you for a week. I wanted to discuss selling the car. I even applied for a loan, but it fell through. No hard feelings." "Come on, Dad. Why did you need the cash?" David inquired. "I had a minor surgery. You see, I had a little accident," Robert Anderson confided, leaning in to whisper something to his son. David nodded sympathetically. "Wow, and here I thought only younger guys had mishaps like that. Well, if you sold it, you sold it. No big deal. Besides, you drove the car yourself anyway." "Dad, there's something I've been meaning to discuss with you for a while. Why don't you transfer ownership back to me, as we agreed? I'll head to the notary right away." "David, but are you sure about that? You're in love now. You might not see any flaws in Emily. Who knows how life will unfold? Take your time, thoroughly vet her, then consider marriage. Women can change after marriage. Let's revisit this conversation later," Robert Anderson advised. Once again, David acknowledged his father's wisdom. Love was all well and good, but nobody was immune to deception. It was prudent to wait a little longer. David tied the knot with Emily, and together they welcomed 2 children. Unfortunately, their youngest son from their second marriage struggled with health issues, frequently landing Emily in hospitals with bouts of bronchitis or pneumonia. During a consultation with a professor, the parents received a suggestion. "It's possible the climate isn't suitable for your son. How can there be fresh air in New York City, in a bustling metropolis? Consider moving closer to the ocean. Sea air is therapeutic in itself. Think about it. If feasible, relocate to a coastal town." Emily proposed to David after their meeting with the professor. "David, perhaps we should give it a try. Tommy is only 3 years old, yet he's already been hospitalized 12 times. We're not tied down here. We could sell the business and use the proceeds to start something new there. Why don't we move?" "All right, I'll make it happen. I'd do anything for my son, you know that, honey. I'll kickstart the sale process. I figure we'll have it all wrapped up within a couple of months. Plus, I've been contemplating a move for some time now. I'm keen on transitioning from the car business to the restaurant industry. Business should boom in a resort town," David agreed. David approached his parents with plans to discuss selling his property and inviting them to relocate with him. However, he found his mother in tears. "Mom, what's wrong?" he inquired. "You have no idea what happened. Today, I caught Tommy red-handed. He got into a fight with a neighbor," his mother exclaimed. "With whom? Sophia?" David asked. "Yes, her. It's a disgrace. I can't even begin to describe the scene I walked in on," she replied, distraught. Somehow, David's mind drifted away from their serious discussion. How could he possibly consider moving now, especially when his parents' lives were unraveling? Besides, he reasoned, he still had plenty of time. Selling the business wasn't a task to be completed within a week. His priority now was to mend his parents' relationship before revisiting the idea of property transfers. Robert didn't sugarcoat the situation when he spoke to his son. "Yes, son, that's exactly how it happened. I thought everything was under control, but it turns out, trouble can brew where you least expect it. I didn't anticipate her returning so soon, and in front of your mother, no less. Dad, you found yourself a mistress too? Sophia has 5 children, all from different fathers. Couldn't you have found someone more suitable?" David questioned. "What difference does it make who their fathers are?" Robert suddenly snapped. "She's a good woman, just unhappy. Anyway, let's set this aside for now. You should head home. I need to have a long and difficult conversation with your mother." In the evening, David received a call from his father, who announced, Your mother may have scolded me a bit, but she forgave me. What brings you here today? I completely forgot to ask earlier. We were considering a move, David confided in his father. Tommy needs the ocean air. A doctor mentioned that his frequent illnesses might be due to the city climate. When would you be free? I need to update the documents, evict the tenants from the second condo, and put everything here up for sale. Wouldn't you and Mom like to join us? No, we'll definitely stay here. Where would we go at our age? His father responded. Take your time finding buyers. Once we have them, we'll transfer everything promptly. Or why don't you let me handle the sales? I have plenty of free time. I can meet with potential buyers myself. Once again, David failed to recognize that his father was deliberately delaying the transfer process. Robert had his own motives for this delay. He had already sold most of David's property, leaving only the condo where David and his family lived and the car he drove. As for the business, Robert hadn't touched it yet, but had potential buyers lined up, just in case. Unbeknownst to David and his wife, Robert had been involved with his neighbor, Sophia, for several years. They had 3 children together, a fact kept hidden from David and his family. Robert had long been planning his escape. His wife, Karen, had grown weary of his constant complaints and unpredictable behavior. What kind of life was it when you couldn't even share a simple embrace with your spouse? Soon, Robert and Sophia were set to depart for a distant place. Just a few days prior, the retiree had handed over all the money from the sale of land plots and the 2-bedroom condo to his beloved Sophia, who left with her children to purchase their dream home. Robert had intended to stall his son for a couple more weeks, but his plans were foiled. David, while posting real estate ads, decided to visit the second condo to photograph the furnishings. Expecting to encounter familiar tenants, David was taken aback to find strangers at his property. The new owners of the condo presented David with the sales contract, revealing they had purchased the property from Robert at a significant discount. Forced to confront the truth, Robert and David engaged in a heated argument. "You've left me with nothing," David fumed. "You've stolen from my children. How could you do this to your own son?" "Look at yourself," Robert retorted. "Do you even remember your older daughters? Unlike you, I care about my children. I think about their future. You'll earn more in the future, young man. But I've taken what's rightfully mine. I raised you. I paved your way in life, so you ought to be grateful." "This is the boomerang effect." "I knew it," murmured Karen Parker, clutching her heart. Sophia ceased communication after her departure, and initially, she hadn't planned to take Robert with her. Realizing how cunningly his mistress had deceived him, the retiree immediately began seeking forgiveness from his ex-wife and son, but they refused to grant it. Following the advice of his second wife, David reconciled with Jessica and re-established relations with his daughters. The elder girls gladly took on the responsibility of caring for their younger siblings. In addition to alimony, David now financially supports his first family, having experienced firsthand the neglect his children endured when he forgot about them. I hope you enjoyed this story. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more awesome stories in the future. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey, and we'll see you next video.